I'm Dr. George Flinn, and welcome to the TV show where today we're going to talk about some irritations. People are far more irritated now than just about ever before. We've got this pandemic going on, and unless you haven't heard about it, it probably will be with us for a long time. The pandemic has caused a lot of people to be constrained and confined and wearing masks, and I hope you're wearing a mask. I'm on the mask wearing side of the ideas. Some people say masks don't work. Well, believe me, they work. So a lot of people feel like they're put upon and they're called to give up something, just because you're wearing a mask or socially distancing, or can't go out or can't do this or can't, we're used to being free. And now all of a sudden, for a little while, we're going to be a little bit constrained. We're going to have to give up a little bit of our usual ability to do anything we wanted to do whenever we wanted to do it. So that's what's going on, but there's several things that irritate people. And now when we're more constrained, people are even more irritated. That's what I'd like to talk with you about, is how to decrease that irritability. One of the funny things that I hear is I'll call someone and I'll hear a voicemail. Now, when I call, I don't like to, go to push one. Our menu options have changed, push one, push two. I don't like that. So, this is not an advertisement, but at our office, we always have someone answer the phone, because most people don't want to go through a telephone menu of things, and most people have to. So try to differentiate yourself. Try to use the answering machine as little as possible. Now, there are a lot of crazy calls coming in, but so, at least for your friends, answer the phone. Now, younger people love to text. Older people and middle-aged people love to talk on the phone. So we've got a little bit of a change going on there, so it'll be a little bit of a rub. But if someone texts you, text back as soon as you can. If someone calls you, call back as soon as you can, if you can't answer right then. But I heard this one voicemail said, "This is so-and-so and so-and-so. Leave your name and number, and I'll call you back at my earliest convenience." I thought, really? At your earliest convenience? You're supposed to be appreciative that someone called you. And that's sort of a put down. I'll call you back whenever I get around to it. Your call didn't mean anything to me, but if it's convenient to me, I'll call you back. A better way to say it is, thank you for calling, and I will call you back as soon as I can, not my earliest convenience. So that's one of the pet peeves I've got, and I'm sure you've got them too. But I've got a list of things that I made up for us, things that you hear from businesses, or if you're in business, you say to people, your customers, and your customers, remember, are people also, but you say these things, and you say them in words, you say them in communications, whether email, text, however you send it to them, regular mail, they call it snail mail. However you get the message to them, sometimes we say some things that I don't think we mean them, but they sure have crept into our language. One is, and I wrote this down, when we use the word our, the person that you're talking to assumes you're talking about the entire business. Well, it's our idea that you should do this. And the person on the other idea says, or it's our idea you have to do this. Well, the first thing is they don't have to do anything. They really don't. And so you don't tell people they have to. Say, we would appreciate it if you would. We would really like for you to do this in order to do this kind of business or have this transaction. But using our implies that you've got the entire company behind you. And better words are me and we and something that I think, or, we think you should do this, but no, that's not the entire company. And they say we, would say, who is we? And you might just say, well, I really think you could do this and it would help you. One other word is policy. Oh, man. People, it sounds reasonable in business. It sounds very erudite, very intellectual. But remember, they're people. Telling your customers, well, it's our policy that you, customer, have to do this. That sounds very inflexible. People want to be appreciated and know that they're important to you. Because if they're your customers, if they're your friends, to your friends, if they say, can I borrow $1? You say, well, it's my policy not to lend $1. Not, I don't feel comfortable doing it. Just say that. But policy, that's hiding behind some kind of written thing that's out there. And people want to know that they're important and that certain rules can be and should be broken to accommodate them. So that's another big pet peeve. Per. It's not human. Per our records, it just upsets people. It can upset even an unhappy customer or an unhappy friend. Per our understanding. What does that mean? I think we should say, I think we understand that this and this and this, not per our understanding. That's kind of demeaning. And we want to stop demeaning other people. The department. Well, our department believes in this. Now, your friend, your customer, your person you're dealing with doesn't really care about the organization of your business or your office or anything. That's not my department. That's not my division. You have to go somewhere else. Well, they don't really have to go anywhere else. But just somebody saying, that's not my responsibility. That's the Atlanta division, or that's the division in Wichita, or you're telling someone you could help them, you know how to get them help, you know what division that is responsible for this, but I'm going to hang up the phone or I'm going to stop the email and I'm not going to help you because you're not important to me. And that's ridiculous. It's just ridiculous. It seems. How about, look, this one's great. It seems you might have had a bad experience. Well, it seems, it's clear that they had a bad experience. It's better to just say, I'm sorry you had a bad experience. It seems that you could have a bad experience. Well, that's sort of negating. That's sort of hiding behind that word, seems. Seems like everyone ought to understand this. But stop using that kind of wording. Just. How about just? It's an unnecessary word. We know a song. I just called to say I love you. Well, how about just saying, I called to say I love you. I just called. It's a good song lyric, but I just want to tell you, I would like to tell you, or I will tell you, but not I just want to tell you. Just is sort of an unnecessary word, and it can tend to, sort of get on people's nerves. Misunderstanding. It really seems harmless, but misunderstanding emphasizes that the customer, the other person that you're dealing with, is wrong. Say, I clearly told you this, but you misunderstood what I said. Misunderstanding. Now, you think when you're saying this, it's a difference between what I say and what you heard. You think that, but somehow there's a communication error there. And you're taking all of that communication error and putting it on the other person. Seems you have a misunderstanding about our policy. You know that. You get where I'm going with this? It's really not a good word to use. What about if? We're sorry if you were disappointed. That's common. The company, when somebody writes in like that or tells you about that, you know they're disappointed. You don't have to say if you were disappointed. You know they were. And you can say, your time with us was less than perfect. I am sorry that happened. Not, I'm sorry if you had a bad experience. Well, they had a bad experience. Don't negate their frustration, because that only makes people more frustrated. It doesn't bring people together. It drives them apart. And that's what I'm trying to get at, is for us to bring people together a little bit more. Fault. The other person may not be right. They may be wrong, but it's not your business to determine who's at fault. It's your business, it's your idea to work through the challenge of it, because you are where you are. Who cares whose fault it was? Doesn't make any difference. It doesn't help you get to a resolution. So trying to assign blame or assign fault to something is pretty dysfunctional. It's okay, but you are where you are. And let's take it from where we are, because we can't go back. If you're trying to make someone else wrong and yourself right, that just drives another wedge in between the two of you. But, whenever you say but, it's so wishy-washy. I'd like to offer you a refund, but our policy permits us to not do that. We can't do it. Our policy refuses to let us do it. Whenever you say but, I thank you for everything you've done, but here's what we need to do better. Whenever you say but, it erases everything you've said before that. I think you've done this and this and this, and it was so good in this and this and this, but then all of that's erased, then they go to the fault. So watch that word. Definitely watch that word. Try. When you say, I'll try to do this. I'll try to do better next time. Do it or don't do it. Just say, I will do it or I won't do it. But saying I'll try really means to the other person, I'm not going to do it, but I'm going to make you think I'm going to do it, and you'll be disappointed later when I don't do it. You say, but I tried to do it. It doesn't get you off the hook. So what I'm saying is, take the other person's feelings, take their reaction, take their situation have some empathy. Have some empathy, understand where they are, and let's do something about it rather than try to make them wrong and us right. I'm Dr. George Flinn. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.